Welcome to our next section. What you're looking at are upside down dried Jimsonweed samples, materials. So they have these very scary seed pods, and you're looking at them upside down. And these were collected on the edges of some cornfields from South Jersey. And they've been seasoning for at least 6 months. And I think they're ready. So what we're going to do is, or what I'm going to do, is carefully get these apart, because the seed pods are upside down and the seeds are falling all over the place. So I'm going to carefully remove the pods, keep as many seeds as I can, and then we're going to go through each one of these stems and branches, find out what's going to keep and what's going to go, and we're going to see what happens. Alright, be right back. Okay, so I trimmed down all of that Jimsonweed. I put all the seed pods and the seeds in a bucket, and we're going to pick one of these as a spindle. I think we're going to do this one, and see if we can't get friction fire from it. I'm sure we can, but just another notch in the belt, really. Alright, let's keep going. So now we're going to begin the second part of this toxic poison friction fire section. This one is Datura, also known as Jimsonweed, made famous by the Carlos Castaneda book series. Here's some Datura that I collected about 2 years ago, and it's well seasoned and dried. Also, along with that, I collected a lot of seed heads, and all of them are basically full of seeds. So there's a ton in here, not to mention all the seeds that fell to the bottom there. So if ever I want to grow some, for whatever reason, I got plenty. But I think I've got some excellence, and the reason why I held on to these pieces here, I've got excellent straight sections here for bow drill, okay, here. But I think I actually have the makings of a hand drill here, and here, and here. On these sections, I think this one is too thick for me to spin. So, just to give you a quick view of what the cross section looks like. So it's definitely a hollow. It has lumens. Turn off my alarm. And you can see it's rather thick-walled. So it's not a thin wall. It's not very fragile. At least when it was collected. It was collected green and put away, just so you know that this wasn't, it's not one that died and then I brought it in. So this was collected at a time when it was still strong and stable, and then brought inside to season. So alright, so I'm going to cut these down to what I think are perfectly straight lengths for bow drill and hand drill, or mallet drill, or whatever reloads I feel may qualify, and let's get to work. Here we go. So I've cut out what I thought are the best straight pieces from what I had, and here's a better look at some of those cross sections. I have my ruler out just so you could have an idea. So the longest piece is just a hair over 8 inches, probably. All right, so I'm going to select one of these for a bow drill. I'm actually going to attempt a hand drill with one of these, even though they're only maybe 8 inches tall, less than 8 inches. See if I can float it well enough to do that. If I don't get that, I'll try maybe these two reload pieces. I'll attach them to a bamboo chopstick, a 3/8 inch bamboo chopstick, like I did with the poison hemlock, maybe. So we'll see how this goes. All right. So let me pick one of these of bow drill and hand drill, and let's see what happens. All right. So here's what I came up with. I have a pretty straight spindle here. It's 5/8 of an inch in diameter at the base. Okay, as you can see by the ruler, it is 8.5 inches long. And today we're going to use an old piece of pine, lumber pine, and we're actually going to start brand new in this socket here. This was drilled out by a 5/8 Forstner bit. You can see it's never been used. It's not mated yet. We're going to use my bamboo bow. And again, we're going to use the Catlinite pipestone handhold, mainly because the top is not pointed, it is hollow. And so I want a really wide socket for the pressure hand brace, and it's well greased in there with a little bit of vegetable oil, and there won't be any friction at all, and it won't because the pipestone is so smooth, it won't abrade away either. So I'm going to use the bamboo bow. It's pretty stout, it doesn't have much flex, because I'm going to treat this Datura as if it were almost a solid wood, because the walls are so thick that even though it's hollow, it's very strong. So we're going to do a traditional bow drill, one wrap around with the string, and a pretty good strong bilateral force. I don't think it's going to break in the middle, which I call a take ori, which I mentioned before. I don't think that's going to happen. So let's give it a shot, shall we? Here we go. Okay, so we're ready to go. I think I'm pretty much in position. So we're going to string this. Okay. And we're going to, at the same time, we're going to mate it, warm it up, and get it lit. I think I'm going to go crossway like this so I don't burn into the notch. I got a pretty good breeze, so I'm not worried about the smoke. It's got a bit of a rumble in it on the pull stroke. Maybe if I can mate it better. There we go. You can see it's starting to fill up with dust. Let's add a little bit of speed. Now the pine is definitely just a little harder than the cedar. Oh, I'm getting a skipping. So I've started to lose the ability to grasp with the bowstring. So it needs tightening up, or I need to change what I'm doing there. Now I've got a pretty good kind of a nippling effect there because of the hollowness you could see in there. So I'm going to pop that divot out and I'm going to start again. Okay, hold on. Okay, I'm getting ready to start again. I've switched the bamboo bow from my rattan one. It has more flex, so and it'll be tighter, so it should be able to grip the spindle better. Here's the dust. You can see it's not smoking. I'm just going to put that dust back in there so I don't have to fill it again as much. Can fill that space. Okay. Let's fix that. Let's get a little bit tighter view. You all right? Okay. Let's get in position. Let's string this up. Okay. I took the divot out like I said I was going to. Let's see if this works better. I think I'm definitely going to need some more speed to I don't think this spindle is as straight as I thought it was going to be. I think it's starting to show its colors there. Maybe if I lower the string a little bit. I'm going to lower the string where I think it's straighter. So really what I'm having is a problem with the axis of the spindle. This is not really a problem of the material itself. This is a structural problem. There we go. Now it's straighter at the bottom. Since I'm turning it where it's straighter, you can see I'm losing. Oh, it's breaking. Did I get a call? Almost. I almost got a call, but it started to break. You can see it's splitting. So I'm going to cut this and we're going to try again and see if we can't light that up. I think it's going to. Okay, so I cut off about 1 inch. Again, I took the bark off the bottom as I usually do. Okay, you can see it's not mated yet. Haven't done anything. Now I left the dust in there just the way we left off. So we're gonna string that. That's still not a very straight spindle. I guess my eyeballing of how straight it actually was a little off. Let's see if I can't just see if that has it. Nope. But my problem is the spindle. It's not straight. So the variable there, I have not balanced. So I'm going to get a new spindle, because this spindle is imbalanced. I can't resolve the means of the straightness, the axis of this spindle. So I'm going to get another one. Okay, here we go. Alright, I think we're going to try again. Here's my new one. It's this one, the diameter on this is a little different. It's 9/16, which is between 1/2 and 5/8. So I've left the dust in here, as you can see. Okay, it's not smoldering. There's nothing going on. So the diameter of the spindle is going to be a little smaller than the diameter of the inside of the socket. And again, I'm going to use the rattan bow to keep the tension. And let's see what happens. I still have to mate it as well as warm it up and see what happens. So here we go. This one's got a rumbling about it too. You know what? I'm going to try the string just seems to keep slipping, so I'm going to try an Egyptian version of the bow. So I'll be right back. Okay, so I've brought in my bamboo bow, which is an Egyptian version, and we're going to give that one a shot. You can see it's wrapped multiple times because that string just keeps on slipping there. Everything's the same again as I left it. No slippage, as you can see. Still has a bit of a rumbling. Now I'm going to go for length and speed if I don't mess this up. Alright, that looks much better, doesn't it? Got to balance whatever variables are the problem. Let's see what we got. Almost, not quite. I still have a divot in there. I'm going to get rid of that divot. It was smoking though. It was close. That was quick, right? Got rid of that divot. Let's fill that back up. Let's have a look at this. Everything looks okay. It's cracking here, but it's still in one piece. So I think I'm just going to keep going. Hopefully it won't break on me. Let's see. I'm not using a lot of pressure. I'm just going to do speed and rotations. Alright, let's see what we got. That one seems better. Still nothing. The dust looks really, really good, but there's nothing there. I think I'm going to change my board. I'm going to change the board to something maybe that's possibly more compatible. Let's try that cedar again. Okay, so we're ready to try this again. Now the spindle is down to about 5.5 inches, okay, and the diameter has gotten a little smaller. I'd say it's more like 1/2 inch. So on this piece of Western red cedar, I use the Forstner bit to start a socket which is 1/2 inch in diameter. As you can see, it's not burned in or mated yet. We're going to reuse this dust on the side, which still has yet to ignite. I got a better feeling about this attempt. I also tightened up the string a little bit by 1 knot on the bow. So let's see if that helps a little bit. Let's get into a good position here. Can you see everything? Let's tighten that up a little bit. Hopefully this spindle won't bust on me. I can hear it cracking. Let's go for some, let's get it mated. And let's get some speed and some rotations there. Not a lot of pressure, just really enough to keep everything stable and in place. Oops. So much for in place. Okay. I'm going to come back to this in a minute. I've got to figure out what's the matter here. So here's what I think the problem is. I think I've been also, well, I think this is one of the problems I've been encountering. I've underestimated the thinness of the wall. Now it looks thick, but it's actually when the pen hits the paper, when the friction actually starts happening, you can see that it just starts cutting in. Okay. You could see that when the friction actually happens, it's the walls really show their actual density and structure, and that they're pretty thin. So I'm going to switch out the cedar again for pine. Okay, I'm going to switch out this spindle for the largest spindle I have. Now this one is 3/16 in diameter. The walls do look thicker on this one. Okay, this is 7 inches long. Again, the top is hollow, so I really need a wide socket for the pressure hand brace, and I'm going to use the pipestone again. Now, I already have bow drill or crutch drill sockets here ready to go, so I'm just going to take advantage of that and just use those and see what happens. So I think I'm just going to go ahead and keep using this one that I tried before. This is the one that we used earlier for the Datura, but now I'm going to try this one. So I'm going to keep using the Egyptian style bow. We're going to fill this socket with dust. We're going to tighten in the view for you. Okay, let's get this wrapped. So that went around 4 times. And let's keep going. Let's see what happens. Again, I'm going to try not to drill into the notch. I think the larger diameter is going to be a help. You can hear the rumbling in this one too. have a look. The dust is actually more striated, and we definitely have good smoke. Yeah, we definitely have a coal, if I can not destroy it. Alright, so we finally balanced the variables. I had a slippery string with the regular method, so I moved to the Egyptian style bowstring wrap method. I realized that the walls are too thin on this, and of course if you have thin walls you want a very light density wood for your board, and so right now I've just put that aside, the smaller diameter set with the thinner wall and the cedar. And because I moved to a larger diameter spindle with a thicker wall, when I did more rotation, the outside of the diameter spins faster. So I think that increased the speed and friction in that sense. And so I use the pine. I think the pine is a little more dense than the cedar. And we definitely got it on that shot. Okay. Had to balance the fact there's no point on the brace end with a handhold that'll handle the diameter and the lack of center to the spindle. Alright, I think we did pretty good there. But what I definitely need to do, obviously, is balance this set out, or a set just like it, with the thin wall, much like a lot of the others. Pokeweed, reeds, pilewort, anything that has a really thin wall needs to be balanced out. But Datura you can definitely get a coal out of. There's the evidence. Alright, so we're going to move on to the next one. The one that I think is the most dangerous, actually, is poison ivy. Alright, so let's keep going. Okay, so we're going to have a go at the Datura or Jimsonweed hand drill. We just did the bow drill. So we're going to do a hand drill attempt. Now, out of these 3 sections, I chose this one. This one was only longer by ½ inch. So this one is 7 inches, so the other 2 are shorter. Okay. The diameter of this is 7/16 of an inch, which is just at my perfect mean of where I want to be when I'm doing a hand drill. I like 7/16. I like between 3/8 and ½ inch. So the problem with this though is that it's only 7 inches. Now in the past, in my younger buck days, I used to do 3-inch hand drills. And the technique for that was to really just float at the top like this, and if I fell down, I just use my thumbs to go up again. And that's probably going to be the technique I'm going to rely on again. I haven't done this I'll be honest, I haven't done this in quite a while, using a really short hand drill. So, as you can see, there's nothing in the notch. Okay, and we're going to get a little closer in on that. I want you to see both the technique and the formation of the coal. Now, there's nothing in here, as you can see. I am going to put some sawdust in the notch just to fill some of that space. Okay. Just to save on my energy. Okay. Now this isn't mated. This is Atlantic. Oh, I'm sorry. This is pine actually. It's clear pine. It's a lumber pine. It's a softer pine. So we're going to see how we go. All right. So Datura on pine. see how this goes. So I got to get it mated and warmed up and mated and ignited. So let's see how we do. I don't have any real friction yet. Put some pressure on there. Okay, now we're getting a little bit of smoke. It's probably hard to see. Oh, I hear something cracking. And it's the top. The top is cracking. The top is cracking. I can hear it. I can see it. Alright, so let me cut that off. Hold on a second. I've cut the top off, and we're going to not make the edge so sharp, and we're gonna I'm gonna see what I can do. If this doesn't work, we're gonna move to a reload version, like I do with all the other thin walls that don't stand up to being able to do a normal hand drill technique of hand spinning. Okay, so we're ready to attempt a Datura hand drill, and what I've decided to do is do the reload method like I did with the poison hemlock, as well as ones in the past that are thin-walled. Okay, and I consider the Datura thin-walled, especially since we just experienced that with the bow drill method. So what I have here is a hearth of Western red cedar, which is as we know, is a light density wood. The socket I have here is a previously used 1/2 inch socket, which is ready to go. I filled it's kind of high. It's I think it's about 3/4 of an inch high. So I filled it with some sawdust. As you can see, it's not smoking. This reload section is 2.5 inches long. Okay, as you can see, I've taken off the bark off the lower section, as I always do with all my hand drills, just to clean it up. I've made it pretty cylindrical. As you can see, it's not mated, and I haven't done anything with this yet. It seems to spin pretty freely, and I've added a 3/8 inch bamboo chopstick to it, like I've done previous times in the past with other hand drills and mouth drills. So there's about 13 inches of bamboo chopstick here. It goes down about 1 inch inside the reload down here. Of course, it's held in place with a hose clamp. So I think we're ready to give this my first hand drill attempt. So I'm going to, instead of you watching my technique, we're going to get up close and personal on the notch area, shall we? Adjusting. There we go. Okay. You can hear the lawnmower outside. That's our neighbor. Okay. So we're going to. Oops. It'd be nice if I keep it in the socket. You have to get this mated. It seems to be going fairly well. We have a little bit of dust coming out. Let's see if I can't just keep floating, keep going. Let's increase some speed. Well, I think we have a coal. And we have a coal on the first shot. So here's my first ever fire hack of a Datura Stramonium, 1/2 inch diameter reload on Western Red Sea. And went pretty well. Pretty happy with that. Alright. So we've done bow drill and hand drill of Datura. And so now we're going to move on to the one that I'm pretty stressed over, and that's poison ivy. Because if there's one that scares me, it's poison ivy. Alright? So let's keep going.